Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. So in this one, I'm going to be covering 5 mistakes that will kill your fitness coaching business if you don't avoid them. My name is Kieran Errington. I've been a qualified PT for an online coach for 11 years now. And what I do now is I run a fitness business agency called FitPro Consultant. And what we do is we help fitness coaches and PTs basically build and scale their online coaching program. So they can finally escape the face-to-face grind and achieve the freedom that they deserve. However, just because you love to help others doesn't mean that you have to be burnt out, sacrificing your social life and time with family for what, $3,000 per month after tax? But the good news is there is a better way. So you need to be able to turn your years of expertise into a more leveraged online product, right? You can't just be trading time for money forever. There has to be a point in time where you evolve. And the way things are going with the online space, if you're not in there, then you're going to get left behind. And this is going to give you the opportunity to help people from all over the world who are in need of your specialized support and guidance, right? And all done in an efficient way that creates, more freedom, because that's what most people are looking for, right? They're looking to reduce their hours on the gym floor and be able to actually, build more financial security for their family, but also have the freedom to be able to, live life. So yeah, let's get into it. So after watching this, I highly recommend that you check out my other videos if you want to know how this is done in a lot more detail. I recommend the 2 case study breakdowns that are on my profile where you can see the full in-depth sort of guide into how we're actually able to do this. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. So these are the 5 biggest mistakes that you must avoid when trying to build your online fitness coaching business. So number 1 is trying to sell through a company, okay? So, last year, even the year before, this is sort of the personal brand era, okay? More people online are relating to personal brands. There's a lot more authenticity, and relating with your audience is super important, right? You don't want to be hiding behind logos, trying to act all corporate, especially in the fitness coaching niche, right? It's a super emotional decision to want to do that, and you have to have a connection with the person that you're going to be coached by. So, it's all about building that know, like, and trust. And if you're hiding behind a company, you're going to have a much harder time doing that. So if you combine educational content with personal content, you'll naturally attract those who will be a great client to work with, because you're educating and solving problems of the niche who you're specialized in helping. But at the same time, you're posting out personal content that's allowing people to relate to you and connect with you, right? So you're going to naturally attract similar people who you're a good fit to work with. So that's also one of the benefits to niching down as well, is that, you attract people who are good to work with. If you keep things broad, you're going to have a lot more problems to solve. You're going to have to work with people who you don't particularly like. And yeah, it's just a lot more messy, to be honest. But yeah, by not letting people into your personal life, they'll be less likely to want to become your client, because they're less familiar with you. They don't know you well enough. And a competitor who is more open and gives that human connection is just going to swoop them up. So super important. Number 2 is being too broad in your content messaging. So, I'm sure everyone's heard this by now. If you try and target everyone, you end up targeting no one. This is a really common problem with PTs, because as a PT, you're used to, accommodating everyone, working with a variety of different people. However, in the online space, because there's such more, the competition is a much wider. You need to niche down if you really want to resonate with someone, because why would they pick you over someone else if all you're doing is selling the same as everyone else? Like, there's no unique selling point about choosing you. So it's just going to be a lot harder for you. So you need to be thinking about, what's the actual transformation that you're trying to teach here? How are you, where are you trying to get people to? Because then what you can do is you can dial in on the problems that are associated with that transformation. So, also things like how experienced they are, that's going to affect what sort of language you use in your content. Like, what sort of things are you talking about? Are you relating more to someone who's got more experience, or are you relating more to someone who's a complete beginner? You need to think about this sort of stuff. And also just like, what does their life look like? Like, are they a dad? Are they, are they a parent? Are they more like career driven? You need to think about, like, you're talking to one specific person. That's the best way to do it, because if you always think you're talking to one specific person every time you make a piece of content, then naturally your messaging is always going to be focused on that one person, right? But people want the best solution. So the more broad you are, the less sort of, the more watered down you seem, right? You just seem kind of like you're average at everything. You're not an authority in a particular niche, or you haven't really mastered one thing, right? And that makes you less appealing, and there's less perceived value there. And with the amount of competition there is online these days, if you have a specific outcome that you're trying to achieve, why would you go to the person who's generalized as opposed to the person that's specialized, right? If it was me, I would personally pay a bit more, go to the person who's specialized, especially if this is going to be such a big life-changing journey that you're about to go on over the next sort of 3 to 6 months. You want it done right. So it's worth paying a bit extra for the person who's got more experience. And yeah, just don't try and please everyone. It doesn't work. And the common misconception with people who aren't really used to selling online yet is like, they think that they're going to lose out on sales because they're cutting out people in the market. But there's about 1 billion monthly users on Instagram, right? And these days the algorithm is really good. It's going to put your content in front of the right people. So not making sales is crazy. And yeah, don't be scared to talk about stuff that doesn't relate to you, right? If there's other styles of coaching, methods, anything like that, right, that you don't associate with, then you can throw rocks at them, right? This is called positioning, right? So why is your way of doing things better than others, right? You need to put this across to people in your content so they know why, and then they'll be more likely to come to you. Now, number 3 is charging too little for your main offer. So, I mean, if you do this, one, you'll get less committed clients, right? Because your default is putting them on a payment plan. So they're always going to have sort of an escape route. This will always be a subconscious thing in their mind. So when you get people who aren't as dedicated, who aren't as committed, maybe you're working with more on the side of beginners, these kind of people are going to be especially more high risk for you. If you're working with advanced people, then having a monthly plan isn't such a big deal. But you'll always get people who have like an escape route in their minds subconsciously, because they know they can just cancel at any time, and this causes people to be less committed into actually following through what they say they're going to do. You also need a lot more followers and profile traffic for low ticket offers to work well. Because let's say you've got 100 leads, right? You manage to get 30 of them, or 30 to 40 of them on a call. If you're charging 5 times less than you could have been, you're going to be making a lot less money. Getting leads and getting calls on the calendar is the hard bit. So you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot if you're not actually charging, an amount of money that's going to be worth your while. Now, you'll also have the negative effects of pricing psychology working against you, because people always judge and assume the value of something based on the price. So they're going to negatively perceive your service as less valuable, right? And that's not what we want. We want pricing psychology working in our favor. So the people who want the best of the best are thinking, okay, I may as well go with this guy because they're a bit more pricey, but then at least I know I'm getting the best service for what I'm trying to do. I know that's not always the case, but that's how people naturally think. It's human nature. You won't have extra money to invest in yourself or your business. So as a service industry business owner, you should really be investing in yourself all the time, because you don't have stock to buy, you don't have anything like that. Generally, it is quite a high profit margin business. So that means in theory, right, you should have extra money to grow your business, whether it's investing in a mentor or whatever, right? But what the problem that a lot of PTs and online coaches make is they price their services that just allows them to have enough income to live on, right? And that's just silly, okay? You need to have the mindset that you're going to be growing the business, and you need to be investing in yourself so you can make them leaps to the next steps. Another thing is, just on the back of that, is like, you're going to struggle to build wealth for you and your family. If you don't have a ton of followers, that is, right? I'm kind of talking to the people with less than 10K here who are charging low ticket instead of having a high ticket offer. You're not going to have a lot of money to put away after things like, tax and all that sort of stuff. But even if you do have a lot of followers, a high ticket offer is definitely the best way to go. I've worked with people with, 200K followers, for example. We increased his prices, and then he immediately saw gains from that. He also had a low ticket offer on the front end of his business advertised. We removed that, so the high ticket was the only way people could go, and then he would downsell people to the low ticket offer if needed. But this resulted in him, 7x in his revenue, which is crazy. So you should always have a high ticket offer as your core offer. Number 4 is shiny object syndrome. So you need to avoid this at all costs, and this is a very common mistake that people make, especially in the kind of world that we're living in now with all the technology and the internet, is that, like, you have tons of information at your fingertips. Like, you could probably find out anything you wanted to, really, but, with free information, typically people don't take it seriously. That's why I always recommend investing in a mentor, because then you can literally just follow what they tell you to a T, and it's always going to work better than you trying to research online, and then taking little snippets of information from different sources. It all doesn't quite fit together. The reality is everything works, right? But if you're getting distracted and hopping from different things, your progress isn't going to be linear. It's going to be all over the place. It's going to be messy. So, getting caught up in tasks and activities that also don't drive the business forward as well. This is another thing. Apps, fancy websites, graphic design, landing pages, email marketing, making the perfect program, changing their offers. Like, don't let this be you. Like, what's important is this, right? Generating traffic, right? Getting traffic to your profile, capturing those people, like qualifying those leads, right? Processing them, getting them into your lead pipeline, okay? So content, talking to people, warm DMs, call to actions in your content and your stories to actually generate extra leads, and booking calls, appointments in. Like, if you do all of those things correctly and you've got systems in place to actually capture all these leads, process them, book calls, and then turn them into clients, that's all it really comes down to. And people tend to be, doing almost everything that avoids this. It's just procrastination at its finest. But if you can get 3 to 5 calls on your calendar per week, you're in a really strong place to be able to close new clients. So you need to be asking yourself, like, what's the most important tasks that will allow that to happen, right? Booking 3 to 5 calls. What needs to happen for that? Like, you need to be talking to as many people as possible and booking calls. So, but how do you get those people? You need to be posting content, right? So you just need to kind of reverse engineer what actually needs to happen for calls to get onto your calendar. And the last thing is perfectionism, right? AKA avoiding doing the work or not doing enough volume because, you're you're too focused on the minor details. I know this is quite similar to the last point, but taking massive, messy action will always outperform you trying to put out your best work all the time. You're always waiting for the right moment to message someone. You're always trying to create the most well-scripted and edited reels, okay? I mean, 50% of the battle on social media is about how much attention you can generate, right? Because the more time you pop into someone's feed or stories, the more know, like, and trust that you're going to receive from them. And this creates, familiarity, which, would make someone far more likely to become your client. So I would actually prioritize consistency and volume over like quality, to be honest, right? Even if you need to get a reel up one day and it's literally just you talking to the camera, but you're giving value, that's kind of all that matters, really. Like, it's a lot more important than quality, but people tend to focus on the quality before they've even got the foundation and the inputs in place, which is silly. That, like, prioritizing quality over inputs is going to hold you back massively. And yeah, so, giving value, showing authority, that's kind of all that really matters. As long as you're solving their problems, people don't care about editing their stuff. They really don't. So prioritizing that over the minor details will go a long way. Be that person with 2,000 posts who's the go-to person for their niche, right? They don't get to that point by, spending all day with a blank screen in front of them, trying to using all their creative energy to make the perfect videos. It's not sustainable. So think about how can you get the inputs out there with the lowest effort possible and the lowest level of creative energy. And when you're doing it consistently, then you can pick out little parts of it that you can improve, okay? Getting 1% better every day. But the sustainability and the consistency is the bottom of the pyramid, yeah? The priority pyramid, that's the bottom. That has to be in place before anything else occurs. Because if you get caught up messing around with anything above that and this is, deteriorated, it's really going to hold you back. But to be honest, that's kind of it for this video. I just kind of wanted to touch on those few points for you guys. I mean, if, give me a follow if you want more value like this. If you kind of want a bit of help, you want to ask me some questions, you want to see if, if you're a bit stuck and you kind of just want some clarity about, what to do in your business, then feel free to book a call in the link in the description. We'll have a chat, see if we can maybe help you out. And yeah, so I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.